Hi, this is Laura from LauraLoveCoach.com. Let's talk about the things that you're leaving behind in 2025 and the things that you're working toward. And some of these are lessons, and some of these were tough 2.5-year lessons that you had to go through. And now in 2025, you're going to start to work towards something else. You're going to get a flavor of the new lessons in May 24th, 2025 through September 1st, 2025. And we're going to get into it today. So Aries, for you, these lessons could have had a lot to do with loss. This could have been a very tough 2.5 years where you really were tested in ways that you maybe were depressed, or you tried to connect to God. You became more spiritual by the things that were happening in your life. Your faith could have been tested, right? And I will say you probably will be so happy that this transit is going to end for you, okay? Now, as we get into 2025, 26, 27, and some of 28, your new lesson is going to be, you're going to have Saturn moving into your first house of self. So you may feel restricted. You may have issues with partners, home, family, status, like that. It's just telling you to become responsible. If you're responsible, this shouldn't be difficult for you. But you may be having a little bit to shoulder a lot on you of responsibility, okay? Just saying. Saturn is saying you're more serious, you could be more responsible as Saturn goes into your sign. And that's for the next 2.5 years. Now, Taurus, Saturn has had you learn lessons when it comes to friends, groups, and organizations. You would have figured out who your friends were. You would have had to, separate the wheat from the chaff big time with Saturn in the 11th, right? And now you're going into 2025, 26, 27. Your new lessons are going to be on spirituality. You may become more spiritual during this time. You may, I want to say, things that may happen in your life may have you really testing you on your belief system or your spiritual being, okay? So that could go on. So that may be a little tough for some of you. Again, 2.5 years. So I think that your faith could sometimes be tested, and you may become more closer to God. You can become more spiritual during this time. You could be more active in prayer. It just depends. Now, Gemini, what you're leaving behind is, you felt really tested in your status, relationship status, career status, your title in life. Getting engaged, going to the next level with your job. You may had to have started from the bottom up. And it could have been really difficult. You could have felt like, geez Louise, I feel like I'm having every roadblock there is. Well, those roadblocks are leaving, and you may finally get that promotion. Your relationship may level to the next level, which is wonderful. Your new lesson is going to be in the next 2.5 years with friends, groups, and organizations. You're really going to figure out who your friends are. And any group or organization that no longer, suits you anymore, you're going to move away from. All right, so now we're on to Cancer. Cancer, you were learning lessons when you could have been tested in the last 2.5 years with your belief system. Maybe even taking classes, it was difficult for you. There could have been a break in education, or something just seemed so difficult for you, right? Maybe there was issues with teaching, writing, publishing. Contracts could have been an issue, or delays. If you had any legal situations, those could have went on forever, right? Well, those things are going to be clearing up. Thank Jesus. Now, the next 2.5 years, Saturn will be in your house of status. So when it comes to your title, your career, your relationship situation, if you're wanting to go to the next level, it's going to take work, hard work. But there is a reward after the 2.5 years, I promise, okay? Leo, you getting away from lessons you have been learning for the last 2.5 years in regards to joint resources, joint finances, a partner's income, and intimacy. You could have been on, they were off, it just never happened. Or, maybe a partner lost their income in the last 2.5 years and things were hard financially. Maybe you had to pick up the slack financially for a partner. If you were trying to get a loan or something like that, or invest money, things were just difficult. You couldn't get the loans. It just wasn't working out. And you had to shoulder a lot of responsibility. Well, things are going to get better. Thank Jesus, right? Now, as we go, Saturn goes into the 9th house for you. Your new lessons are going to be on your belief system. Maybe teaching, writing, publishing may be a little difficult. Travel, it could be difficult, or there's delays. Legal agreements, if you have any legal troubles, they could last a long time. So try not to get in any kind of legal trouble in the next 2.5 years, okay? And contracts, you may sign something that's a contract for a long time. So if you're signing a contract and it's a very long-term one, make sure that you have somebody look it over, that you're not locked into something that you don't like, okay? So there's that for Leo. Now, Virgo, you have been tested in your relationships. What doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. The last 2.5 years, if people weren't above board and honest with you, they could have been called to task. You could have been called to task if you weren't honest in a relationship. Now, when we say 7th house, we say that is, personal long-term relationships, but that can also be business partnerships. It can also be your clients. Maybe you've had difficult clients, or maybe you've had difficulty getting clients. Maybe things were difficult between you and a business partner. That could be as well, right? So for you, I will say there has been difficulty going to the next level, maybe in the relationship, in the career, right? Now just know, and I'm going to tell you this, Virgo, when it comes to relationships, if you've been looking at people with rose-colored glasses, expecting them to, unless you put your foot down, I'm going to say for Virgo rising people especially, if you're allowing people to take your kindness for weakness, you could have been tested. If you're allowing the relationship to stay past its expiration date, you would have been tested. If you were constantly enabling someone with an addiction issue, you could have been tested. And I'm telling you, that could have been hard. But good news is coming as we go into your new lesson. Things with relationships should start getting better. You may not feel as tested. Now, as Saturn goes into your 8th house, your new lessons are going to be on joint resources, joint finances, and intimacy. Taxes. You may feel like there was an issue with the taxes, so you may want to make sure you have a professional doing your taxes this coming year. Also, money you owe others, bills that you owe others could come up from, the surface. You're going to be like, oh God, you got to deal with this. It could be also a partner's income could be lacking. You may have to pick up the slack for a partner's income, okay? Just saying, and this is a 2.5 year transit. You may have a difficult time getting loans when Saturn goes in the 8th house. So I'm going to tell you, you may have to shoulder a lot of stuff on your own, and it may be hard work, okay? But you can get there. Saturn in the 8th could be trying to fix up your credit bureau too, and maybe it's difficult, right? You're trying to work things out. All right, that could be true. Anyway, on to Libra. Libra, you've been having lessons when it comes to your work, your health, your day-to-day activities. Maybe in the last 2.5 years, you dealt with that difficult boss, or, difficult work situations, right, that were just hard and tough. Maybe you had a chronic illness. Maybe you've had issues with your back or your teeth, because Saturn rules bones and teeth. So all these things are going to get better for you now when Saturn's going to be leaving this area of your chart. In the next 2.5 years, you're going to be having lessons in regards to relationships. How do you do relationships or partnerships, business or personal? You're looking at the give and take, what is fair. Remember, what doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. Love Saturn. So what I'm saying is, if somebody is not above board, you or the other person, it will come out. So you want to make sure in the next 2.5 years, you are above board in your relationship dynamics that you are having, okay? Because you will be tested. So if you have no cracks in your relationships and you're treating your partner great and they're treating you great, expect this transit to be a breeze. If you're being lied to, or they're being lied to, or somebody's having an affair for years, expect that'll come out. Okay, just so you know. All right. Now we're on to, so take that as you will. Now we're on to Scorpio. Scorpio, lessons you're getting away from. Well, the things, if you've had issues with kids and discipline, and my kids aren't listening and they're not behaving, or I've had that creative project that took me forever, or I'm having issues getting pregnant, right? Or romantic partners. I'm looking for the long time and not the good time, and I'm having issues dating and finding certain people. I find the pickings are slim. I can't meet the one. I'm not, or I'm not having any fun, right? All of these issues will get better when Saturn moves its little butt outside of this house that it's in right now, okay? So in the last transit, you should have maybe had to have more discipline with your kids. Maybe you were more strict, you know, more rules and regulations in regards to things in your home. When it comes to dating, you were getting more serious, right? When it comes to a creative project, it could have been a labor of love, right? When it comes to dating, I want to say that you could have not wanting to put up with crap. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing when Saturn's in the fifth. Now that it's going into your sixth, your new, you know, all those areas of your life, just so you know, should get better. Now the new lessons are your sixth house. So my advice is whenever Saturn goes into the sixth house, always get a checkup and a health checkup and get your teeth checked because Saturn rules bones and teeth. So in Aries rules the head, right? So if you're getting headaches or something, just you want to go and get it checked. Or if your teeth are hurting or, you know, you've been having issues, you want to make sure you're going. Now, aside from health, you could have a difficult boss in the next 2.5 years or difficult work situation that is just like, oh my gosh, please get me out of this situation. You could feel tested with the work environment, right? And the work that you do on a daily basis. And it could test you as like, do I still want to do this work? Or do I really want to work for this person? You know, you may feel tested and maybe you want to work on your own, or maybe, you know, things may change in this work environment depending on how you handle the transit, right? But it could be very difficult. The key word here is hard work. If you're working hard, you're going to be blessed at the end of the transit with something good. All right, the next one is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the lessons you've had for the last 2.5 years could have had to do with your home and family. Maybe you had to pick up the slack for home and family for elderly parents. Maybe there has been some issues in the home in regards to maybe a partner moving in, and maybe it was an adjustment, maybe it was just difficult. But it looks to me like whatever this home and family situation or dynamic was in the last 2.5 years, you are moving into a new situation in the next 2.5 years where you may feel challenged when it comes to children. Creative projects, you know, children may need more discipline, right? A creative project could be a labor of love, could last a very long time. It may be something that takes a while to finish. Now, when it comes to dating, you may become more serious about dating. It's not the good time, it's the long time. I'm not looking for the fling. I'm not looking for hookups or anything like that. If they're treating you like an option instead of a priority, see you later. Bye, Felicia, right? You're moving on. I feel you're going to get very serious about dating this year. That's my prediction in the next 2.5 years. I'm also feeling like you may feel as if there's not, some of you guys may feel like there's not a lot of fun, but there's more discipline in these areas of your life. They're saying there needs to be more discipline. And I want to say, if you're trying to get pregnant, try to do it before this transit takes place. So if you're trying to get pregnant, do this before May. I would try to get pregnant before May, because after May, there could be difficulties getting pregnant. Just saying. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, the lessons you have learned is it is not what you say, but it's how you say it, right? And the last 2.5 years could have been challenged on your communication skills. Things with neighbors, with siblings, and vehicles could have given you issues in the last 2.5 years. And as we get into now, going forward 2.5 years, it looks like your new lessons are going to be on home and family. You may be called to take responsibility for home or spend more time with home if you're workaholic, right? You may be called to, I want to say, maybe you're taking care of elderly parents, or maybe this is you needing to fix things in the home, right? Create a stronger foundation in the home. That you may see that in the next 2.5 years. Home may need your attention, so you may have to focus there. Saturn is asking you to be serious, and if you're not, it could become difficult in the home. I'm just saying. So when you say, people are like, we need you at home, or we need to help this, and you just heed that warning, okay? All right, Aquarius, you are learning lessons, or you are getting away from lessons from money. I mean, in the last 2.5 years, you could have felt like, wow, just to earn money, it's so difficult. Money is tight. And I really had to shorten the purse strings when it comes to my earned income. It is very difficult, right? And maybe some of this is because of maybe you had expenses for children or things like this. I don't know. But it looks as if like you're having to tighten the purse strings in the last 2.5 years. And now your new lessons are going to be, and just so you know, your money there should get better. Your new lessons are going to be on communication. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Things with siblings, neighbors could be difficult, and expected vehicle may give you trouble the next 2.5 years. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Pisces, for you, I want to say in the last 2.5 years, you felt challenged. You just felt like relationship issues. I'm having issues with my home versus my status, with my career. Things are just, you felt like you're being pulled in many different directions. Now, when Saturn goes into your second house for the next 2.5 years going further, you may feel like you're having to tighten those purse strings. You feel like you're having to watch the money, what's coming in the account, what's going out of the account, right? So I would say plan now to, if you have extras that you're spending, oh, I don't need that Starbucks every day, put that money away for a socket away. I don't need all the channels on my cable. I'm just going to get the basic for a while and then save that money. Whatever you can do to trim the fat right now, it's going to benefit you in the long run. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful, you guys. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I want to say, go to my website, lauralovecoach.com. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, free 5 minutes, live reading one-on-one. Just call the 888 line, my phone line, and you can get a chance to have some astrology questions answered or some tarot questions answered, so take advantage of that. At the end of your reading, you're going to hear hold music. You're going to have a chance to add more time to your call if you wish, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Anyway, that's my gift to you, and also check out the reports on my website as well. We have some astrology reports that are free on the birth chart calculator section of the website. So if you're wanting that free 5 minutes, go to the services page on my website as well. I love you. Thank you for, again, liking, sharing, subscribing. Please subscribe. And I will talk to you soon. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.